Greetings. Today we continue our study of Psalm 119. We begin today the Ain or Ayin section of verses 121 through 128. The title is The Reviving Power of the Word. I want to start with a statement you may have to think with and follow through with me on. But it simply says, only he who vived the work can revive the work. The psalmist says, I have done judgment and justice. Leave me not to mine oppressors. Be surety for thy servant for good. Let not the proud oppress me. Mine eyes fail for thy salvation and for the word of thy righteousness. Deal with thy servant according unto thy mercy, and teach me thy statutes. I am thy servant. Give me understanding, that I may know thy testimonies. It is time for thee, Lord, to work, for they've made void thy law. Therefore I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. Therefore I esteem all thy precepts concerning all things to be right, and I hate every false way. The word revive means to restore the vitality of our spiritual lives, which has been choked by the cares, the riches, and the pleasures of this life, as Jesus called them in Luke 8:14. So they can be restored to fruit production for God's glory. So verse 121 says, I have done judgment and justice. Leave me not to mine oppressors. The word judgment here, misfat, is one of our primary synonyms for God's word. The word done is the common word used over 2,000 times in the Old Testament. The word justice is primarily translated by the word righteousness in its over 100 uses. As in the 23rd Psalm in verse 3, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Psalm 94:15, but judgment shall return unto righteousness, and all the upright in heart shall follow it. To the 97th Psalm in verse 2, clouds and darkness are about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. Proverbs 1:3, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity. Although this first clause means that David has done the righteous deeds which God has declared, as a result of this obedience, he has experienced oppression. The word leave is only used once in Psalm 119. In some 70 plus other uses, it's primarily translated as something put or placed and left in that place. Add the specific place where David requests not to be left is in a place where those who desire to oppress him can do so, and the word carries the idea of deception and violence. So verse 122 says, be surety for thy servant for good, let not the proud oppress me. The word surety here, only in the 119th Psalm, this one time, and in 21 other Old Testament verses. Surety is its primary sense, meaning to give security as we understand a mortgage, where our property secures that which we have borrowed against it. David declares himself to be a servant who is depending upon his master to be his security for good against oppression by his enemies. The implication of David's request is that ceaseless oppression has robbed him of strength to continue in his labors. We'll pick up and proceed in the next section, but Let me say here that Job and Asaph and Malachi all agree with David on this issue.